So you're thinking about owning a firearm in the Philippines? Watch this video.
Stay tuned. So welcome back to part 2 of our two-part video series of safety in the Philippines. So this video is going to talk about owning a firearm. So right off the bat, the question is, who can own a firearm in the Philippines?
Only Filipino citizen.
Correct. I cannot legally own a firearm. However, Wilma, being a Filipino citizen, can indeed own a firearm. Now, I also want to say that for years, even when we lived back in the US, so many people told us, oh, you'll never be able to own a firearm in the Philippines. It's so complicated, it's so difficult to do that you'll never be able to accomplish it. It's only for certain people in the Philippines, like police and government, people who work for the government and things like that. That's not true. We found out once we started looking into it that though it's pretty complicated, it's not that difficult to make happen.
No.
So what we're going to try to do is do our best to go through the steps and kind of explain to everyone that if you're the person who feel like having a firearm in your home for safety is the right thing to do, and there's a lot of people that think the opposite. It kind of depends where you grew up in the world. There's some countries where guns are highly restricted, and I happen to grow up in the United States, where guns is not. I mean, it's the Second Amendment, and it's pretty easy to register a firearm in your own name. So I always had guns. I was an avid hunter as well as fisherman. I bow hunted, I black powder, I shot shotguns, rifles. I had a whole slew of firearms throughout my life. I think I had my first BB gun at like age 10 as a birthday present. So, I was very comfortable with firearms. And then when Wilma and I were a couple, she shot my guns from time to time, and she got comfortable with firearms in the home as well. So when we moved here, obviously, I could not bring any of those guns with me.
That's a big no-no.
That's a big no-no. So that's one thing. And I did get a question on the first video about that. Someone asked, hey, I'm a licensed firearm owner in the US. Can I bring my firearm with me? The answer is a big no. No. You cannot bring any firearms or ammunitions or weapons, for that matter, to the Philippines. It is absolutely against the law. Don't do it. But we started looking into it, and just like with our immigration needs, we used a third party. We used a third party to help us for Wilma to get her gun license. So that's the first thing I would recommend, is find somebody in your local area. Go to a shooting range, because most shooting ranges has people there that you can hire to walk you through and help you every step of the way. And Wilma has a good friend, her name is Rose, lives in the area, and she knew of somebody who was a retired lieutenant from Cebu, and she used him to go through the process. So we did the same thing, and his fee was only 2,500 pesos.
Yeah, for him, for his fee.
For his fee.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of other fees to get the license. And we're going to kind of go through that for you. But his fee was 2,500. So again, if you want to go it alone, that's fine. I think you can navigate through it. I think, obviously it would be more challenging, and you'll see it as we go through the steps. But I think hiring somebody who knows the ins and outs. Now, this gentleman who I met a couple times, very nice man, He worked for many, many years as a police officer in Cebu. He was a lieutenant. And the last 10 years of his career, he was in licensing. So his job was to license new police officers in the area. So he's well versed in the laws, and the laws are changing rapidly.
Yes.
So we're going to try to touch on that as well. So let's get into it. All right, so for this video, we need lots of notes.
Yes, definitely.
Because it's definitely detailed. So the first thing you have to do is you have to open an account online with the LTOPF. That is a Philippine national program that keeps track of all the registered gun owners in the Philippines. So what does that stand for? License to own, possess firearm, LTOPF. And I went ahead and took some information off that website, which I'm going to show you now. So the beauty of having someone do all that work for you is the gentleman that we used opened the account for us. So what I did was I do have the website open, and I'm going to go over, there's 10 requirements.
It's a lot.
That you have to get through and upload into this account on the LTOPF. So the first thing obviously is an application form, and you have to go to an attorney and have it notarized by an attorney when you sign it. And was there a couple, did you need to do more than one, or is it just one form?
Just 2 copies.
Oh, 2 copies.
Yes.
Okay. So 2 copies of the application form. That's right on this website that you can print off. Then an affidavit of undertaking, which again is another document.
It's in that website also.
It's in the website. Everything is there for you to print off.
Yes.
The beauty is the gentleman did all that for us
Yes.
and sent it to us in an email. So all we needed to do was just run down to a print shop
Just signed it.
and just had him printed off for us, so we had all the documents. We didn't have to navigate through, but I'm sure you could do it yourself. So second requirement is affidavit of undertaking, and that also has to be notarized by an attorney.
Yes.
Then you have to go down to your local police station, and hopefully, because not all local police stations do this, so you're going to have to maybe go to more municipalities. Luckily, Darwin Police Station did it for us. National police clearance.
Not local police clearance.
Not
It's
local
national.
police. Different.
Yes.
So it's basically running a background check on her to make sure she's not a felon.
Yes.
You have to show 2 valid government IDs.
Yes.
And again, all this has to be copied and uploaded into this account. So a valid driver's license, a valid Filipino passport, or the national ID.
Yes.
You have to have 2 valid IDs. You have to go to your barangay and get a barangay clearance. Now, if you have more than one address, like Wilma does, our primary address is in Darwin, her secondary address is in Leyte, needed to get 2 barangay clearances. So it's basically proof that you live in those locations, because that's very important, which we're going to get into. And again, that gets uploaded. Your birth certificate, which needs to be a PSA version.
Yeah, need to be a PSA.
So that's that yellow copy.
Yes.
So if you don't have the yellow copy, the PSA version of your birth certificate, you just can't use your original. You're going to have to get that. That gets uploaded. Then you have to do proof of income. So we're retired, so what we had to do is we thought we could just do a snapshot of our bank account here in the Philippines. Didn't work.
No.
You have to go to your local bank, and you have to have them give you an official document showing how much money you have in the bank, or if you are working, proof of income. You would have to go to your employer. You just can't show like a paycheck. You have to go to your employer, get an official document. So we had to do that, upload that.
And make sure that the manager put those like a stamp and signed it. just to prove that they're the one printed.
Yeah.
It's it's a piddly stuff.
Yeah.
Just make
The
sure.
bank manager had to sign it.
Yeah,
I
bank
remember
manager
that.
had to sign it. Yes.
I remember that. Then you have to do, and we'll get into this as because there were several trips we had to take.
Yes.
You have to do a drug test,
Yes.
and then you also have to do a neuropsychological test, 100-question test. And then you have to take a gun safety course, which
Yeah.
includes a written test and a shooting test. So that is the 10 requirements. And again, it's all on the website, LTOPF. If you Google that and go online, you'll see all the requirements. So next up, there's actually different levels of a gun license in the
Yeah.
Philippines. Level 1 through level 5. Spend just a little bit of time on that. So when you're a new gun licensee, you will be level 1, and that means you can own legally 2 firearms. So you can own a pistol, a shotgun, or a rifle with the level 1. And then it goes level 2 is 5 firearms, level 3 is 10 firearms, level 4 is 15 firearms, and level 5 is more than 15 firearms. And you have to start out with level 1, and then in the actual website it tells you how many years between each level, and then you can apply for the next level once you meet those requirements, and then you can own more firearms. So here's something that's new, and throughout this video you're going to hear things are changing, and I've said it in the previous video. It seems like 2024 is the year where a lot of things are changing. So I said under a level 1 you can own a pistol, you can own a shotgun, or you can own a rifle. They're changing the law. I don't know if it's been done yet. That's what our guy told us. They're going to start highly restricting rifles. So pistols and shotguns, not a problem, very easy to get, but I was told rifles are going to be restricted much more. And again, I don't know if that law has been changed yet, but we were basically told stay away from buying a rifle, which we did. So next up, just to talk a little bit about the fees. So the first thing you have to do, and again, here's something that's new, before you could do things in different order. Now you have to do things in a specific order.
Yes.
So the first thing you have to do is you have to sign up for the safety course. So typically you go to a shooting range, which Wilma did.
Yeah, and then they will give you the certificate once. It takes about a week for you to receive the actual certificate that you did all the safety training.
So you go through the course. There's a written test that you have to pass, and then there's also a shooting. They give you 8 bullets, and you have to shoot in a certain pattern of accuracy, and then you pass. And then you can also, for 1,500 pesos, get 50 more bullets for additional practice. So 1,500 pesos is about $28 for 50 rounds. And just so you know, everything that Wilma has done was with a 9mm pistol. They asked us what type of firearm we wanted to use. We could use 22, 9mm, 40 caliber, 45 caliber. So I asked Wilma to train with a 9mm, and that's what she did. So that actual test was 1,200 pesos? No, that was for the license.
That's for the license.
It was 1,500 pesos.
Yes.
Yes. So it was 1,500 pesos to go to the shooting range, to have an instructor, take the written safety course, and pass the test, and then do the firearms on-hands training. That's 1,500 pesos. And then if you want the extra bullets, it's 1,500 pesos for an additional 50 bullets.
If you want to practice.
If you want to practice. So you have to do that first, and you didn't have to do that first before, but you do now. So once you pass the written and shooting test, you wait about a week and you get the certificate.
Yes.
And does the certificate get uploaded as well? Yeah.
Yes, it needs to be offloaded into your account.
Okay.
Which our
guy did it for
guy
us.
did everything for us.
Yeah. So now you have your certificate uploaded. So now you got to sign up for the drug test / neuro psychological test, which normally takes a while because there's caravans, and we didn't want to have to travel back to Cebu again.
Yes.
There's two different ways of doing it. You could just go back to Cebu and get it done if you don't mind. For us, driving 6 hours one way, take a drug test, do a simple test, and then drive 6 hours back. We waited for the caravan. But we will say that the caravan is a little chaotic because I think a lot of people don't want to drive to Cebu.
Yeah.
So, boy, there was a couple hundred people there. So it was an all-day affair. So it's 300 pesos for the drug test and then 900 pesos to take the neuropsychological test. And it was 100 questions, and it is pass or fail. And how did that go?
It was pretty good. It was just like it's a psychological.
Yeah.
It was a
Simple question.
simple question.
Yeah. And they try to trick you.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. They ask the question one way, and then 10 questions later ask it a different way.
And the question is on English and Tagalog.
Yeah, good point.
Yes.
Good point. So if you don't read English well as being a Filipina, it is in Tagalog, but where we are here, the language spoken is Bisaya. So hopefully you are able to speak Tagalog or read Tagalog. So that might be a little tricky taking that test. So that was another day. So it was basically one day for the shooting and the test, and then there was one day after you get the certificate for the drug test and license. And then how long did you have to wait before that was all approved?
It was all approved. I would say it was 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks,
Yes. Within 3 weeks, we got the
approvals.
approval.
Yeah, it was a ton of approvals
Yes.
because you have it set up on your phone that every time somebody approves it, it says it was approved, and I think it was 8 approvals.
It was 6.
6 approvals.
So first it was for the drug test, and then the second was for the neuro, and then it goes to whoever.
Different levels.
Different level.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
So this office has to approve it, then it gets kicked to another office, and they approve it. And then we were all excited because it was going pretty quick, and it says now it's going to go to the chief officer to sign. Well, we didn't know there was 3 chief officers.
There were 3. Yes.
So it says chief officer whatever approves, and we're like, we're done. We finally got our license.
Says 2 more.
And then you read it. It said, oh, it was sent off to another chief officer. So they really do look into your background and things like that. So then once that's all done, you pay 1,200 pesos to actually get your credit card size license.
License ID.
Now, we were also told, again, the year of fees changing, and we actually asked, are you sure that this number is right?
Yeah, we asked twice.
We asked
because
twice.
It was a big 10 times different.
Yeah, so when we went to get the license, they said, oh, the very next day, the fee was going to go up from 1,200 pesos to 12,000 pesos.
Yeah.
And I actually said, wait a minute, you sure you got that right? So if we do this on that date, it's going to go from 1,200 pesos to actually get the license in our hand to 12,000. That's tenfold. They said yes. So again, the fees are going up everywhere.
Yeah.
Now I do want to also say that when you do all the applications, one of the things that seem to stop people is you have to have a 2x2 photo of yourself with your proper name that appears on your national ID, and you have to show all 10 fingers.
Yes.
So you have to show when you take the photo, if your thumbs is behind the photo, they kick you out. So we saw people that drove all the way to Biowan, 2 hours from Darwin. And when they did their 2x2 photo, they were holding it like this, like maybe 2 fingers showing. And when they were in line and they were going through, they said, unacceptable. You need to come back when you have the proper photo.
Yeah, luckily there's a photo booth outside that they could do it, but then they had to go back all the way back to the lines, which already have like 100 people in front of them. So, you know, they were in the line for so long, and then finally when it gets to their turns, now they turn around to take the picture, the proper picture.
Yeah.
So that's you know, it's a hassle because there were a lot of people.
Yeah, what I've learned here, and guys that's been here for multiple years, you guys will know this, the Philippines takes things very literal. So it's not like they give you any wiggle room on any document whatsoever. So again, if it says to show all 10 fingers, and you have your thumbs behind the photo and you're showing like 4 and 4, they're not going to accept it because the requirement says to show all fingers. Is it silly? Some would say yes. So when you get those requirements, or any requirements, driver's license, anything, really read the fine print and do it exactly right. So that's why having someone to walk you through it, he wouldn't allow that photo to be uploaded unless it met the requirements. And if you're going alone, just like Wilma and I do it ourselves, we may not see that fine print and maybe not do it right. And again, if you're traveling a couple hours to get that test done, what a shame. Again, there was somebody there taking photos, and I'm sure it was expensive.
It was triple
It was triple the price?
It was triple the price.
Yeah.
And a lot of them...
Only in the Philippines.
Yeah, a lot of the Filipino that went there, you know, they didn't budget for it.
Yeah.
So they were all disappointing. And
Disappointed,
a lot of them actually has to come back the next day because by the time they get back to the line, now they have a cutoff at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I remember.
And there's a cutoff of a amount of drug test that is given that day, which is only 150.
Yeah.
So now because they had to go back and retake the picture, now they had to go all the way back to the line. Now by the time they get back to the lines, the is cut off time. So it was... Yeah,
sorry, ma'am, come back tomorrow.
Yeah, there were a lot of unhappy people that left there, you know, that they didn't accomplish anything.
Yeah. So you got to be very literal, read the fine print. And again, it's so much better having someone help you through it. So next up, let's talk about the actual purchase and all the fees of the firearm.
Yeah.
Hi guys, while I was editing this video, I realized that the video itself was 37 minutes long. And that's a real long video to sit through. So what I'm going to do is stop the video at this 23-minute mark and actually do a separate video. So a part 3 on the actual purchase of the firearm and all the fees included in that purchase. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for part 3 of this series.